Well, hello, friends, and I'm glad that you are here. Are you eating healthy, but you still feel tired? You feel like you're losing muscle or you're gaining belly fat, or you still are having dry skin, hair, and your nails don't look good? Maybe you're having joint pain and brain fog. If so, these symptoms might indicate you're not getting or absorbing the macronutrients in your meals. So you might be missing key nutrients that your body desperately needs for midlife. So, what can you do? Well, today we're going to talk about supplements that can fill in the gaps and the ones to avoid. So, hello, I am Leah. I am a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. I work with Nurturing Your Life. If you're a woman in your 40s, 50s, or beyond, and you are struggling with hormones, energy, or you just don't feel like yourself, you're not alone. So stay with me. We're going to talk about supplementation of macros in just a minute. But first, this disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am a health and wellness coach. This information is for educational purposes only. It's not meant to be used as medical advice. I always recommend you check with your own health practitioner before beginning any kind of nutritional or lifestyle modifications. So, we're going to talk about macronutrient supplementation, specifically proteins, fats, and even certain carbohydrates for women who are in perimenopause and menopause if you may not be getting enough from food alone. Over the past few weeks, we've talked about the macronutrients being the largest nutrients that you need to eat for your optimal health and wellness, especially in midlife. But today we're going to dig into the proteins, carbs, and fats from a supplementation standpoint. And if you haven't gotten a chance to watch my separate videos on proteins, on fats, and on carbohydrates, you can check those out on my YouTube channel. So the information is also available on my website, nurturingyourlife.com, in my blog, and you can read that as well. But remember, macros matter because your hormones are shifting in midlife, okay? And that's going to affect your muscle mass, your bone density, your blood sugar levels, your brain health, your sleep, and your weight. Even if you are eating healthy most of the time and maybe you're exercising and doing all the right things, but you may not be absorbing your food well. And so that's where supplementation can step in. So let's talk about protein supplementation. Many midlife women do not get enough protein. They want to lose weight, so they decide to cut out meats. And that is not the thing to do. Whether it's you're trying to lose weight, whether maybe you have some food restrictions and allergies, or maybe you just have a busy schedule. Remember, protein helps because it builds muscle mass, it maintains muscle mass, it's going to support blood sugar and metabolism, and it also helps you keep fuller longer and reduces those cravings. Ideally, most experts recommend about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Okay. And that ends up being between about 75 to 120 grams of protein per day if you're the average woman. The easiest way to do that when you're eating is trying to get about 25 to 30 grams per meal. But how can we supplement? Well, collagen peptides are one way. Look for about 10 to 20 grams per serving. Remember, this is really great to help your joints, your skin, your hair, your nails, and your gut health. Try to find ones that don't have any additives and come from grass-fed animals. But one thing you have to remember is that collagen is not a complete protein. It doesn't have all the amino acids that it needs. So you're going to have to pair that with some other protein or use a full spectrum protein powder. Another type of protein supplementation is whey protein isolate. Now, if you tolerate dairy, this is a great option, okay, because you absorb it quickly. However, if you are dairy free, you have dairy sensitivities or allergies, whey is probably not going to be your friend. But I've got some other things to tell you about. You always need to read labels on any of the protein or collagen powders that you buy, because some contain gums, some contain sugar alcohols like erythritol or xylitol, and that can cause bloating and other GI issues. You want to keep it clean. Most people tolerate monk fruit, stevia, or allulose, but you want to check the labels because sometimes they have a mixture of those with some of the sugar alcohols, and you want to try to steer clear from those. Another thing you can do is, instead of an animal-based protein powder, go with a plant-based. Pea and pumpkin seed blends are often good if you can't do, the whey. And you can put powders in coffee, tea, smoothies, soups, energy balls or bars. I'll often use it, like maybe a quarter cup of that as a sub for some of the flour when I'm making baked goods. You can sprinkle it on cereals and yogurt. What are some of my favorite brands? Ancient Nutrition, Vital Nutrients, and Prime are all pretty good and clean, healthy ones. You can get those on Amazon. You can also get it through my Fullscript account, and you'll get a discount with that if you'd like. Just let me know. Also, you could go to these companies' websites as well. Now, I have been asked about protein capsules. There are protein capsules you can take, but not as many as in the powder form. Why is that? Well, if you think about it, a tiny little capsule is only going to be able to hold about 0.5 to 1 gram of protein per capsule. And remember, when we were talking about protein, you're trying to get 25 to 30 grams per meal. So you'd have to take 10 to 20 capsules a day to just get 10 to 20 grams of protein, okay? So better options are using the powders, or there are some amino acid capsules that you can take. And some of the brands that are pretty good and clean are Designs for Health, Thorne, Clear Labs, and Pure Encapsulations. Just be sure you check and make sure they're free from gluten, soy, dairy, and artificial additives. There are some collagen capsules also from Vital Proteins or Bulletproof, but remember, there's still going to be a lower dose as compared to powders. And also some of the other brands I just listed have the collagen capsules too. All right, let's talk about fat supplementation, primarily omega-3s, okay? Healthy fats like omega-3s are critical in midlife. They're going to help reduce inflammation. They support hormone production. They help improve your brain function, your mood, and they protect your heart health. Unfortunately, most of us don't eat enough omega-3s. We eat more of the omega-6s, and most of us aren't even eating enough of fatty fish to get the proper amount of omega-3s. So generally, most experts recommend about 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA omega-3s per day. Remember, this is not medical advice. I'm just telling you what some researchers have suggested. You check with your own doctor first, though. And a lot of experts also recommend 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams per day of the omega-3s if you don't eat much fish at all. You want to look for triglyceride form fish oil or algae-based omega-3s for a plant-based option, okay? And remember, omega-3s can help with dry skin, hair, and achy joints as well. Some of the brands that are pretty clean and professional are Nordic Naturals, Seeking Health, Just Ingredients, Designs for Health. They all have, the high quality options. All right, let's talk about carbohydrate support. Remember, carbs fuel your brain. They help regulate cortisol and serotonin. Serotonin's that feel-good hormone. They help balance your thyroid, and they're going to help give you energy, okay? Carbs are the primary way that we get energy. Some women may benefit from some extra carbohydrate support beyond eating complex carbohydrates. And the reason why is maybe you need a little extra help with digestion or blood sugar regulation. Here are a few things you can do. Psyllium husk, which is spelled actually Psyllium. That helps support fiber intake and bowel regularity. Now, you want to start very small, like a half or a quarter of a teaspoon, and build up slowly. Okay. If you also have constipation, this can help. Another thing you can try is acacia fiber or partially hydrolyzed guar gum. These can be gentler if you have a sensitive tummy and gut, but you want to start very small as well with this one, just a half or a quarter teaspoon a day. It's going to dissolve easily in water and doesn't have taste or texture. If you have IBS or a lot of bloating, the acacia fiber is going to be easier on your tummy. Another thing you can try is prebiotics and soluble fibers like in green bananas or potato starch or even inulin, INULIN. What prebiotics and the inulin and the green banana and potato starch just do is it helps feed the good bacteria with resistant starch. Now, if you happen to have IBS or you've been told you have SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, this may cause bloating. So you may need to not eat it at first until you've healed, or you may need to just start very low amounts and go slow. And one benefit with the inulin is it does taste sweet. Just remember, not all carbs are bad, right? Fiber is your friend in midlife, especially because besides helping with digestion, it's going to keep you fuller longer and help with hormone detox. If you have high amounts of hormones, it helps your body get rid of those. So who are some of the people who need to supplement or who might need to supplement? Women who don't have much of an appetite or they're nauseous a lot, so they don't really eat that much. Maybe those who have food intolerances like dairy or gluten. Women who do intermittent fasting or maybe keto, or they just skip meals, or anybody who has gut issues, IBS, or poor absorption. You probably need to talk to your health practitioner about supplementation. Now, remember, you don't have to take everything I've talked about today. I'm just giving you knowledge, and that helps you have power, right? And you can do your own research. But what are some tips for smart supplementation? Well, here are just a few. Like I mentioned earlier, but I say this all the time, read ingredient labels, whether it's food, supplements, whether it's skincare, makeup, anything. You want to choose clean, non-GMO, low sugar options of any of this, okay? And if you do choose to do a protein powder or collagen powder, rotate them. Do collagen one day, an animal-based another, pea protein the next day. Just variety is key to keeping our body healthy. And pay attention to how you feel. Your body is smart. It's giving you signs through the symptoms, okay? So you want to check and see how much energy you have, right? Do you feel low energy or high energy? How's your digestion? Is it humming along or are you having a lot of problems? That may be a red flag that something you ate or a supplement is not agreeing with you. What about your mood? Are you irritable or do you feel better and happier? And how are you sleeping? Those are going to help give you signs that what you're eating or what you're supplementing with is working or not. So, which one of the macros are you struggling to get the most of? Proteins, carbs, or fats? You might want to choose that one to start off with for supplementing. Just remember, God designed our bodies with wisdom, but we have to nurture them intentionally. And so let's nurture our bodies with the fuel it needs. And if you're not getting enough through your food, supplementation might be the missing piece. And if you would like some help in figuring out how to help your health if you're in midlife, reach out to me at nurturingyourlife.com. You can book a free 20-minute clarity call with me. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.